Michael check. Michael check. Mic check. Are we live?
We is alive.
We are live.
This is the last day of June. Oh no, is it tomorrow? Sorry,
Tomorrow.
last day of June. What about the last Sunday? Yeah, not too hot today. At least down here in California.
For you.
Man, I saw the devil riding the bus. It's hot here.
Let me rephrase that. I got my aircon on. That's why I'm saying. All right, let's start this real quick because this is a deep topic, and I think it's a long overdue. I don't know why we didn't talk about it before. Konnichiwa, mabuhay, half a day, everybody. Welcome back, Highway 54, where we keep things moving and real. And my name is DJ Ken Mango, and tonight we're diving headfirst into two conversations. A lot of us people would rather serve around. I think we avoid this two topics actually. But you know me, I don't even use my blinker. No, I do. I'm just joking. I do. First up, men's mental health. We're asking why so many men, especially our veterans out there, are fighting silent battles behind strong faces. Why do we still treat asking for help like it's a weakness instead of a wisdom? And how do we finally start a conversation that's long overdue? So men know it's okay to heal, and they're not alone in this fight. And we're going to talk more with the federal and military because that's what we know, and that's our kind of our world. But it pertains to all men around the world and the nation. And then we're going to pull up over and pop the hood, and hopefully Coach Anthony with About That Wallet will help us out with this. Another question nobody wants to answer. Is $25 an hour the new $12? You heard that right. I feel it. So buckle up because tonight it's all about the numbers and headlines. It's about people. So people trying to hold it together, trying to hold their life together, keep their heads above water, and adding the math, it doesn't add up. So if you ever felt like you're doing everything right but still coming up short, this podcast is for you. And I tagged a lot of people out there. Hopefully my friends and family and veterans friends around the world will tap in. In the meantime, let's get settled in. But while we're in this little break, comment, like, and share. Are we good?
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
we're good. Stand by.
the ongoing series about the life of the people touched by the love of the Pacific. Here are their stories. This is Highway 54.
DJ Kid Mango, Coach Anthony from Bought That Wallet, Carla in D3. Welcome, everybody.
Yay.
Welcome.
Yep, yep,
So,
yep.
so we just right before we started, Carla in D3. Man, can we share? You had a dilemma in the house.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
I had shared some stuff on social media too.
Bro.
But yeah, we it's funny because this guy does not leave work for nothing. He's just that guy. He's that guy that's just not gonna leave.
Mm.
But he got a text from me that day. What did I say? I was like, "You need to get." What did I say?
Can you come home, please?
Now you need to get here. I mean, I was sitting in the in our family room, and I was hearing like a dripping sound. Then I started hearing it dripping faster, and it didn't sound like a sink dripping sound.
Mm.
And I said, "Where is that coming from?" And then I looked in the hallway, and I just saw water just start pouring out the light fixture.
Oh man.
I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then I looked at the ceiling. The ceiling was bubbling. You know, a little bit was the paint. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Not running upstairs right away, but just shocked. And then I said, "Ariel, get up here." Went in the living room. The living room had water all the way around the ceiling, like on
Oh.
each side of the ceiling. And so we went upstairs, and there was water just pouring out. Just the whole bathroom thing was flooded. It was, and it's a Jack and Jill bathroom. So on each the guest room on each side of it,
Mhm.
the carpet was wet. So now we have all these fans blowing, these big industrial fans blowing that we cannot turn off until they come tomorrow. They were
Oh
going to
my
come on
God.
Tuesday, but they're coming tomorrow. So you know that our electric bill is going to be sky high.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, 24/7 for like the last few days because they have to dry everything out first before they start the demolition of everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. The dogs are not looking forward to it. So we're gonna have to do something like
Oh, the
so.
pain
Yeah,
of owning a house, and it happens. It happened a couple
yeah,
months ago too in my house where leaking was slow, and all of a sudden there's a big puddle, and we called the plumber, and it cut
yeah.
a hole, get in there, like, and find that. I mean, the easiest part is cutting the hole. The second part is like finding where
Where
the
it
actual
is.
leak is at. Yeah, yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
glad it's gonna be fixed. But it's costly, and hopefully we all have insurance.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And I think I was telling Anthony that we had just dropped the deductible on our insurance
Woo.
even more
Yeah, yeah.
and like a couple months ago. And this happened. So I was just
Yeah.
like, man, at least it's cheaper than what it would have been,
Yeah.
before. So
Yep. All right, let's go into our topic. It's going to be a deep one, and hopefully everybody can tap in and kind of share it with a lot of
awesome.
people out there, my friends and families and military veterans out there. But hopefully they can come in, comment, like, share it, or at least listen. Stand by. I'm going to try something a little bit new. I'm going to do a little monologue because this topic here is really dear to my heart. Of course, to a lot of our friends and family and ourselves, we know families who are in this position. And of course, I'm speaking to Coach Anthony, who are men like myself and D3, a veteran. Okay, imagine this, folks. We talk about strength, right?
Mm,
We conjure up images of guys who never blink, never shed a tear, um, we who just grit their teeth and power through with a silent nod. But man, how many good men have we lost, buried under the weight of that silence, simply because they were told that real strength means never showing an ounce of vulnerability, right? Every
mm,
single day in this country, countless men are waging wars that you can't see. We're
Right.
talking about depression, anxiety, PTSD, the kind of trauma that hold back from battlefields, from grueling job sites, through tough childhoods, or from relationships that just crumbled. And way too often, we're fighting these battles in the dark, all by
mhm.
ourselves, because we're hammered into the heads. It's hammered into our heads that real men don't. really open up, right? But here's the unvarnished truth, the one we really need to hear. So listen up. Real men absolutely talk about it. True strength, right? That's looking that's looking to your buddy in the eye and saying, "Hey man, I'm not okay today." Real courage isn't ignoring your
Mm-hmm.
pain, it's sitting with it, it's acknowledging it, and then having the guts to ask someone for help. A genuine, masculinity, that's about safeguarding your mind with the same fierce protectiveness of you bring to your body and your family and your country. So let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about our veterans for a second. There's incredible men who literally are trained to stand tall, right? No matter the wound, visible or invisible, for them, the silence that's expected to be tough can be deafening. We owe it to them. We absolutely owe it to them to look at them in the eye and say, "Your healing matters. You're not a burden. You're not weak for speaking up, and you are strong enough to heal." So tonight, right now, let's kick off the conversation. And I promise you, it's not the end of this because I know June is the mental health month for men, because mental health isn't just a guy thing, it's a family thing, it's a community, it's a national priority. Let's shatter this silence together, and to every father, to every son, to every brother, to every friend, every airman, soldier, seaman who deserve to feel whole again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show a little statistics that while we're talking about this. That way, it gives you a little perspective of what's happening in the U.S. Let's see here. All right. So men in the U.S. and veterans die by suicide nearly 4 times more than women in the U.S. Suicide is the seventh leading cause of death in men. Nearly 17 veterans die by suicide every day, more than 6,000 suicides each year. About 1 in 10 men experience depression and anxiety, but men are far less likely to than women to seek mental health support. And veterans with PTSD or anxiety are at higher risk for substance abuse, homelessness, and suicide if untreated. 40% of men say they've never spoken to anyone about their mental health. So the first question, what messages did you receive about being a man when you were young? How do those messages impact your mental health today?
Wow. Yeah, the first thing I
Good
was taught
question.
was first thing I was taught was like, you know what? Shut up, do what you got to do, make it work. That's it. I
Mhm.
mean, no complain about it, just fix it. Fix it. Go fix it. No matter what you're going through, somebody got to take care of it. It might as well be you. You fix it. Don't complain about it. Just do what you got to do and move on to the next thing. It's
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
nonstop.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess on top of that, when it comes to dealing with mental health side of the house, it's like you don't know what you don't know. And then when you're told not to really talk to it, or if you being seen by quote unquote a shrink,
Mhm.
it's kind of seem like something else is wrong with you. Like you should be in an institution more so than just having those open conversations. And that's the reason why now it seems as though there are so many men retreats so that you can be around other guys and actually have a full conversation about like, hey, how is life right now? How is dealing with your wife if you're married? How is it dealing with loneliness? Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
dealing with being less than what you expected to be or feeling worthless. But also then it's like, how do you get over that to kind of still feel joy and be happy, put on the face for the rest of the world at the same time? But
Mhm.
to me, it's just describing just how we grew up from being a minority in the United States. It's just you got to do what you got to do to put food on the table.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
For me, it was never a conversation. As far as my dad, I love my dad, and he's a loving dad, and we're very close. But it was never about. He was the epitome of a guy's guy, the alpha male, smoke, drink, Navy guy. And so what he did in action is what I did, or carried myself. But as far as talking about my feelings and hearing that, it was never a conversation. I learned that way into me being an adult. You know, maybe my mid-20s or something like that, where I really had starting to have struggles and problems. I was fortunate as a young kid. I didn't really have, a lot of struggles or, because of my parents were together. That doesn't mean they didn't have any problems. uh, but it, it wasn't taught to me how to be more emotional, I guess, or about your feelings until later on into my adulthood. So, and then of course all the military stuff and the relationship started to compounding, right? And then it wasn't until like after I got out and stopped being in the Air Force that I started showing problems with myself. So and the VA was the number one reason why I started looking within and saying, hey man, Floyd, you have a problem. you know but we're also taught too, right? I mean, D3, you can test to this. Like a lot of times we suck it up, move
Mhm.
on. This is what the command said. This is what the duty said, and you do your 12 hours, 5 times a week, and you just eat it and go. And
Yeah.
that's how I treated my relationships too. Is
Mhm.
I just ate it.
So, I have a question for you. Since you worked with services, when did you ever go like in the morgue or anything? Did you have to experience any of that,
Oh
like
yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah,
bodies and stuff?
yeah.
Does did that trigger you, or do you ever have thoughts about seeing stuff like that, or um,
No, because I mean, we bag, so our in our job we bag and tag.
mm,
So and we prepare the body for flight. And the what do you call those? The silver caskets
right?
for the C-130s or whatever. But it working in that building, if you remember in Japan,
Oh yeah,
our training building was part morgue, and it was a morgue, the port mortuary for a long time during the Vietnam War. Moved to Okinawa, now it's moved back. But when it moved back, I didn't start working there anymore. But when bodies came in, our packages came in, we were there to bag tag. It didn't affect me. Maybe
mm,
the babies affected me a little bit, but the
yeah,
kids, there were like 2 or 3 times where we had the little caskets. That one
right.
kind of more, hurt me more, or just bothered me more.
And that's something that we've been talking about here recently too, because with Dorsey, if you don't mind me sharing a little bit.
We halfway in there. Let's walk through the door.
Right?
But and even with him, he worked in the hospital, he worked with the med
Mm,
group, and he saw a lot of stuff too, and so I guess me from the outside looking in and not being a veteran, but being like the
dependent.
a
Yeah.
military spouse, the unsung hero too. No, I'm just playing.
Yes.
But I mean, is you do see changes in your spouse and everything. I'm sure people might have saw like changes when it comes to like um, your spouse coming back from Vietnam, whether it's Vietnam, whether it was Desert Storm or whatever, was the Iraqi War,
Mm,
there,
Afghanistan and everything.
Afghanistan, all of that stuff. You do see you have seen changes, like the person that left and went, for instance, with my ex, like people that left and then came back, they come back as
mhm.
a different person a lot of
Oh
times,
yeah.
but then they don't
Yes.
really
Yes.
talk about it.
Hmm.
And you're young at the time, is like a lot of times the military spouse too. You're young at the time, so you don't realize like, oh, he's been, asshole. I mean, yeah, but he was that before, but but then it's a different type of asshole. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
it's how do you think that it affected you?
Um, there's a lot of different instances that just made me. I'm pretty much an introvert as it is, So there was a lot of different instances to where, growing up, I just did things on my own. That was just pretty much me. I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah.
I found solace in being able to do that. No complaints whatsoever. But that's especially when I was in the house. And of course, parents tell you to go outside, you go hang out with your friends until the sun is about to go down. Then you hop on the porch so you don't get in trouble. But
Mhm.
but as far as the military is concerned, there was working in the hospital. I can honestly say that one of my biggest, it's not really a regret, is one of the biggest things that I hated
Hmm.
was actually going to work, working a 12-hour shift, you're building a rapport with a patient, and you're sitting back cracking jokes with them, cutting up, and you're doing everything you can to help them get better. You get 2 days off, and you come back and you go to their room, and their room is completely clean. They're gone. You're like, okay, what happened? I said, well, it took a turn for the worse. And they always say death happens in threes, and then at the same time, somebody might always seem like they're getting better before they actually pass away.
Yeah.
And there's also another instance that I have never talked about to anybody where, when I was in the reserve, I was doing my reserve duty, and I was doing 90 days in Dover. And those that know that Dover is a very important military base.
Portion
That's
or
where the
yeah,
body,
or
yeah,
mortuary.
that's where the bodies come. And the thing about it was, this was not just a regular body that came through there. So you had Secret Service coming through with their dogs and stuff like that too. And I was there for the ceremony for when Bo Biden came through.
Oh wow.
And the whole strip in Dover, the main strip that they have, the road, was completely full of cars. I
Oh
mean,
man.
it just hits different when you're a part of it. When you're there and
Yeah.
I'm sitting there and I'm technically getting talked to by Secret Service and everything like that too. I mean, they weren't talking about anything super personal or anything like that. They were just talking, just regular talk. But they had a job to do to where they had to make sure everything was secure because the vice president was going to be there. So when the body came, and of course you had people that were there. Of course, people were mourning. I mean, the whole state of Delaware was mourning pretty much, and at the same time, you're like, man, it hits close to home because I didn't know him personally, but at the same time, it still affected people that are in the state that I'm technically from. I was born in Delaware, but I grew up in Maryland. So it hits a little bit different, especially being on a military base and you seeing the rituals well, not really rituals. It's more like the procedures that they have to go through.
Ceremony. Yeah.
Yeah, to respect the body as it is. And this was a person that he wasn't military, but technically he was still part of the commanders in chief's family. So he's technically related to all of us, I guess, so to say. So it's different.
Yeah. I think when we see a lot of things that normal citizens would not see, it usually, for me at least, it never, it didn't really hit hard at first, but it builds up when you see it a couple times. When you see things, when you're deployed or when you see a veteran, and doing all the ceremonies and whatnot, and the grieving of the families and members. Um, the flag hits different. The flag, the look of the flag hits different. The casket hits different. The grieving, the honor guard, the color guard, the music, the whole procession hits different. And if you've seen that many times, and hopefully everybody doesn't experience that too many times in their lives, but it starts building up, and we never talk about that until later down, where it's kind of not helping us anymore, right? So why do you think men, especially veterans, feel they can't talk about their struggles?
I would say in the Black community, and that's because I'm Black. Didn't know if y'all noticed, but
We
I
take
would
them
say
serious.
in the Black community, like me having as many brothers as I have, you know, people tease and taunt a lot, and I don't think people tease and taunt to really know I mean, they don't really know the damage that they're doing. It's just
Mhm.
something that's like, rolls over from generation to generation, like, oh, you ugly. Da, da, da. It's like, damn, I'm really ugly. You know what I mean? And I think that um, they don't want to really show it, like, because they're going to get teased.
Mhm.
Like, they're going to be called weak.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think like in the Black community, that's why a lot of men hold back. But I feel like now, the older that I get, I see that mental health is coming is more of a norm. Is starting to, people are starting to embrace it a little more, and the
Yeah.
stigma is, kind of, I won't say it's going to fade away, but at the same time, if you're hurting and you're suffering in silence, you can go to like a doctor, you can go to a counselor or something like that. You don't have to tell anybody.
Mm.
You don't have to, because it that's between you and your actual therapist.
Yeah.
So I mean, you don't have to really share, like if you're going to get on medicine, or if you're on medicine, or even go to talk therapy, and you don't want to, you're not comfortable discussing, just don't discuss it. But see, so many people, they end up discussing it, and then that's when they feel like, dang, I shouldn't have said that. Now I feel weird because now they know that I'm going to therapy and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So I mean, I go every Tuesday.
Mm.
Well, every Tuesday, 10 a.m. That's my talk therapy session, and I am proud of it, and it's made me a better person. Otherwise, I don't know how many people would have got slapped. No, but I mean, it works for me. So
Do you guys think that as we're going up, I know a lot of us are Gen X millennials. Um, we grew up a little bit different because we were taught that weakness to share those many feelings about yourself and your challenges is a weakness, and to be strong, you have to stay silent and not have it affect you as much, and that this kind of conditioned us to be silent in front of how would I say, confrontations, in front of stress, not paying the bills, not having enough money, not being loved enough, giving love, not because the burden on us a lot of times is, we like, I'm the older brother,
the
and
latchkey
so
kids, we took care of the
yeah,
other siblings. So like
exactly.
if you had younger siblings or whatever, you took
Mm,
care of your younger siblings.
yeah.
And I mean, you didn't really have time to think that I'm depressed. You
Mhm.
didn't realize that
Yeah.
what did affect you. And that's no shade to like our parents, because the cards that they were dealt and the cards that we were dealt were totally different. And then we dealt them to our kids in a certain way. And I think a lot of times with the latchkey kids, we do try to overcompensate and try to like live through our
Hmm.
offspring, and they end up being like spoiled and whatever
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I think that it we didn't really think about it back then. It's just like,
Hmm.
oh well, I gotta babysit
I gotta,
Marissa,
yeah, I
I,
gotta be strong. I gotta
yeah,
take it. I gotta be the bigger brother or
right.
the bigger man.
Or what
I
you
gotta,
crying for? Why you
Yeah.
crying? You can give something to
yeah,
cry about or whatever. There was never a conversation. You know
yeah,
what I mean? If they're gonna smack you, they're gonna smack you. Period.
yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
Yeah.
but that makes me think too that parenting back then was based upon fear.
Uh huh.
Mm,
I mean, like Carla said, it was. I mean, they were dealt with a specific hand themselves,
Hmm.
pun intended.
mm,
But at the same time, okay, I said don't let nobody in the house when I'm not here. I
Hmm.
mean,
mhm.
go in there, fix yourself something to eat.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
yeah,
it was all types of stuff like that too, because you didn't want to make them mad because they were already going through stuff probably at their job that they had to bottle up themselves. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
cyclical. It's a cycle.
right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right.
And you think that we our generation held that, and to mask our insecurity, that we have to be the bigger person, that everything's okay, we got it handled, we're paying the bills, we got this job, I'm responsible, blah blah blah, and not showing weakness was a way of just protecting ourselves,
And
of it's embarrassing not to have your shit together, pretty much, if I can say,
Yeah,
if I can say that.
peer pressure. That's
yeah,
exactly what it
and
is.
then a lot of people, and even men, a lot of men, they fell victim to like SA. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And that's hard to talk about too, because for one, back then they're either going to be like, you're lying,
mm,
or because a lot of people will say that you're lying when stuff like that has happened to you. I know it's happened to me, and I know people in my family that be like, she lying, blah, blah. But it's okay, because at the same time, it's like I don't feel like a victim anymore. I feel like a survivor.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but not everybody can get to that level to where they can barrel through things.
yeah.
But
And then, and then and then let's take it another step further, where now it's more acceptable for us to talk, right? And with a therapist, which the VA is providing, and whatever insurance you have.
Right.
If you're
Sometimes your
fortunate, yeah,
job will cover it too.
yeah,
The
yeah,
EPA. Yeah.
yeah. But like
Wasn't
in the
that
military,
EPA?
Employee assistance program,
Yeah, employee.
yeah,
EAP.
yeah,
Yeah, the
EAP.
EPA
yeah.
Yeah.
But
or the
isn't it like
employee
when we
assistance.
grew up, Dorsey, and especially in the military, even the federal government, where that's a sign of weakness, and that would hinder your promotion, because oh shit, you don't got your shit together. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Or you got to talk about your feelings and shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I
Yeah.
ain't.
man
You know what
up,
I'm saying?
soldier, man up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so that was afraid. Now in the past couple of years, a decade or so, where a few of us have opened up,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have opened up because it's building up, and we want to share. We see people sharing, blah blah blah, and all of a sudden we get knocked down
Yeah,
because oh, you're being sorry, you're being a pussy. You're being weak, or they laugh us off of the things that's bothering us,
And then it makes it worse
and
because,
it makes it worse, and then
yeah,
we shut down.
exactly. And I mean, like, eh, it's like people that are out here now and they have like let's talk about it, like police officers and other people, when a man has a mental meltdown, like
Mm,
a black man, when they have like mental meltdowns or something like that, however that looks, you know, they can be unalived because
yeah.
of, you know,
they're perceived as a threat,
perceived
regardless.
as a threat. Yeah.
Mhm.
But then if you have somebody else,
Mhm.
guess what race it is,
Yeah.
that would have a mental meltdown, they could subdue those people. You know what I mean? And we've seen it plenty of
Yep.
times play out.
Yep.
You
The
mean, you
the
mean
the,
like the
cur-
like
the
the
courtesy
church
is
in South
extended.
Carolina?
Huh?
You mean like the
Yeah.
church in South
Like this
Carolina?
church in South Carolina, they took him
Yeah.
to Burger King, right? Or he went to
Yeah,
Burger King or something like
yeah.
that.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm, mm.
But he actually unalived people. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And y'all knew that. Y'all, I'm not
The, the,
saying
the courtesy is extended
yes, yes.
to
They don't think
the
twice about
stereotype.
us.
Yeah, the stereotype.
Hmm.
And then the other reason too is we've got first responders not trained to
Mm,
understand mental situations, or
mm,
autistic, or they're
mm,
autistic or schizophrenic,
mm.
or like you said, how you say when you de-escalate.
Yeah, de-escalate the
Like
situation.
Yeah,
They're
Elijah
supposed to have,
McClain.
yeah,
Yeah.
they're supposed to have like certain trainings and stuff
yeah,
like that that they're supposed to be able to go through.
yeah,
But now, since you got a certain person saying that, oh, well, whatever they do, it's going to be justified and they're not going to be punished for it,
mm, mm,
anything could
mm,
happen.
That's
yeah,
People,
intentionally building a wall, if you think about it.
yeah. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
just people get trigger happy and like, okay, well, what they gonna do investigation, and after that or whatever,
yeah,
it's gonna be a slap on the wrist. What
yeah.
I'm,
Some paid administrative leave.
yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I think that's
they're
what
probably not even
they.
doing that now.
Yeah, I think that's what we've mentioned many times. Experts are saying that there should be an expert department, or or squad
Yeah.
that deals with mental health,
Yep.
that can see and recognize and help de-escalate with the police officer.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see someone like, oh man, this guy looks crazy, he got a knife, then you call, or they're already with you, and that expert is trying to figure out if they're in the right frame of mind, they're having a mental breakdown. It's, what do you call that? Even when people jump off, they're about to jump off the
Suicide.
building, suicidal, but they have that one person that kind of like
Oh yeah,
mediates,
Yeah,
negotiator.
yeah,
Negotiator.
yeah.
negotiator.
Negotiator or
Yeah.
crisis prevention or
Mhm.
something like that.
Exactly.
I wonder how difficult it will be to actually develop, whether it's a nonprofit or something like that, that would actually nationwide, that would actually employ those professionals who don't mind doing something like that in their local area.
Well, I mean,
But
it should do it.
they have to embrace it though. I mean, the department would
Yeah.
have to embrace it. I mean, a lot of them don't want to embrace it because it might be easier just to, I mean, for some, I don't know.
It's easier until that lawsuit kick in.
Well, will a
Mhm.
lawsuit kick in and with the president that we have
Yeah,
right now?
yeah,
I
yeah.
said what I said.
Yeah, I mean, you turn your negotiator to real world, de-escalator, and these are trained specialists, whether they be a doctor, or
Mhm.
trained within, as a GS whatever federal, and they be a part of the police officers or whatever, and that would create more jobs, and it will help in the long run for
It does.
That's
these
not
yeah.
what they're looking to
Um,
do now, though. That's
yeah,
not even what, that's going to be like next to impossible. Look at these bills and the other stuff that they're, too busy. I mean, you
mm,
could have put
mm.
$45 million into something like that instead of a bear parade. I'm just saying.
Well, let's go down to the family. 'Cause now we're going to the government, and that's just like another topic.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh, we can't go the laws.
I
How
saw
can
this.
how can we at the lower level here, at our level, things that we can help? How can our families and friends and a community create a safer space for men to open up?
Well, first you have to be well. First you have to remember like the environment and also know your friends. The reason why I say know your friends is because the first thing you say something like, "Man, I really got a hard time," and they'll just bust out laughing at you. Ha ha ha! You got a hard time, like
Yeah, yeah,
Pause.
right,
Like,
or say something
oh man.
crazy. It's like, or oh man, I need a raise, and they just start raising your chair up. Like what?
hmm
Like to really take the seriousness of this situation and really realize like, hey, this person is really calling out that they need some assistance and help. Seriously, just if they just need a sounding board, because a lot of guys, I would say myself included, really just need somebody to say, mm-hmm, okay, we
yeah,
got you. You want something to drink? Cool. Like we'll go get a shot or something. Like that is all majority of the time that's all I need. Just somebody just to listen to my thoughts and everything like that.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
and that could be for free. It's just that a lot of our I would say our close friends are just kind of like, I don't call them a-holes. Like when you're trying to be serious about something. But it happens. But sometimes we just try not to be the Debbie Downer in the mood of the event, especially it's a time and place for everything. So like say like, hey, if we just meeting as a group of guys, like just
yeah,
gonna hang out, talk about stuff, then yeah, that's the time to do that. But if you there like, hey, we had a party or whatever, gathering, you probably can bring it up and say like, hey, I would like to meet up maybe next weekend or something like that to talk about it in order for you to create that psychological safe space. Because if we all having a party, we all not going to be in that mindset to kind of handle that kind of weight and take it the seriousness that it's supposed to have in order for it to be beneficial for all parties. Because it could be very detrimental at the same time if
yeah,
not handled correctly.
yeah.
Right.
I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong. Guys are pretty easy. We don't open up as much, but yeah, you're right, and Coach Anthony, about sometimes we just need validation. We don't need someone to solve a problem. Just hear me out, you know. But I think a lot of times, many times, our partners or friends think they that we want them to solve it. No, I think just understand, and there's a therapist, couples therapist, talking about, I know I am hearing what you want to say, but this is how you should say it. You can say the same thing without being attacking, but not trying to solve the problem. So, for example, to understand, many men and military folks, veterans, they are taught to push through it. So when a man, your partner, starts opening up, one thing you could say is, you know what, I know you were taught to be strong for everyone else, but you don't have to carry it alone here.
Mm.
Right.
So my thing, I think choices of words a lot of times very simple can de-escalate or just make the man feel a little bit better, And like you said, sometimes it's just being there, right? And that's all you need, not to help. But I think a lot of people are like, oh, I'm here to help you. Drop that bitch. Let's go down. Let's go down to the club. What I'm saying? But it's deeper than that. And a lot of times men are not allowed to just say whatever's on your mind, right or wrong, right?
Right.
Yeah, that's one of my
without
issues. Yeah,
without judgment. Yeah, without judgment.
yeah.
Whether I'm right or wrong, this is how I feel. This is what I'm going to say. I'm finally going to say it, and
Mm-hmm.
then
Yeah.
and not worrying like you're going to bring that up again back to me
Mm-hmm.
about my promotion or bring it back 10 years later. You remember that day when you melt down, you said this, but that's how we felt at the time, and that's what we want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And if you open up to somebody and they um, violate that that moment, now you don't want to open up anymore.
Yep. That's
That's
my
what
thing.
happened.
It's like I like. Oh, you know what? If you're gonna say something to somebody, say what you mean. Get it off your chest. Say what you need to say, and say it like you mean it. And sometimes that comes off as being overly aggressive. Like, no, I'm just expressing myself so that you understand that I do have some passion within it. So that is what I mean. That's one instance. The next instance is me being able, hypothetically speaking, if she says something, if Carla says something, first thing pops in my head is, okay, she wants me to fix it. When I'm, I have to be able to find that balance to where maybe she didn't want you to fix the situation. Maybe she just wanted you to know that she noticed the situation.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
being a man, you're a natural fixer. Like, okay, so she told me that for a reason. So am I supposed to go do something? I mean, where are we at here? I mean, and
Yeah.
and if I can't figure that part out, it's kind of frustrating too.
Mhm.
So it goes back to, okay, so what am I actually feeling? And if I'm feeling a specific way, how do I get that out without being considered an asshole? Or,
Yeah,
but then at the same time, working with a sense of urgency within myself to get it rectified.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because families, friends, we hold a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times, we're not the best communicators,
Mm-hmm.
and so when we say things out loud, eventually, right, or that one time, that's just how we feel, and that's how we communicate. People try to dig deeper into what you just said,
Mm-hmm.
or
Taking it
what the
face
guy
value.
says. Yeah, yeah, and try to use that as a weapon, bro. This is the first time, second time, whatever. This guy is opening up. Just listen, right or wrong,
Yep.
and don't try to fix us that day. Just validate that we're having this feeling and that we're
Don't be
going through this.
insensitive. Yeah, and say stuff like, well, "What do you want me to do?" You
Yeah, what
know.
am I gonna do? And then they turn it around, right? Well, this is what I'm going through. There you go.
Yeah, or that's stupid. You know what I mean? Or
Oh
that's
yeah, yeah,
this and that's that. Well,
yeah,
why would you be mad at that? Why are you upset with this?
yeah.
Or why, you know?
Yeah.
Be the
Now
first
they
one to
turn
tell you it's the no judgment zone. Like, yeah,
yeah,
Right.
and
yeah,
then
it
and then
is.
all
You
of a
judge
sudden
me now.
they turn it on themselves. Like, oh, that is how I feel. That's like how I feel every day.
Mhm.
Listen,
Yep.
he is just opening up. He's not invalidating your feelings right now. It's his
And the
feelings
thing about it
you're
is
going
when a
through.
man, yeah, when a man opens up and especially like if it's your spouse or your, you know, your significant other and they open up to you,
Yeah.
you can really make or break your relationship right then and
Mhm.
there if you shut them down or the way you even talk or you look at him and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, like me personally, I want my man as a man, and I want, and as a wife, I make sure that I make him feel like he's his worth. I make him feel his worth.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't tear him down. I'm not going to tear him down in front of anybody. I'm not going to tear him down behind his back and everything like that. And some people that do that is, I mean, for me, it's complete turn off to see a woman sit up there talk to their husband out the side of their neck or their friend their boyfriend or whatever. I just think it's disrespectful. You can take that in the bedroom if you want to talk to him like that. And even in the bedroom, you shouldn't talk to him like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
And not use that vulnerable moment
right?
outside in front of people.
Oh, that's the
You know what I'm saying?
worst.
Remember
Yeah,
the last week you fucking broke like a pussy, blah blah blah. Oh,
No,
right.
that's
my
one
thing is people doing that
thing.
stuff and they think they're getting over on somebody or voicing their opinion about somebody on social media.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, this dude called his girl cheating. Not everybody needs to see out. No, we don't care about that. Or somebody
Yeah.
disciplining their child. Nobody want to see that, man.
exactly.
That ain't for
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah.
And
That's
then you
not.
get mad when somebody judges you. So now
Mhm.
you got an
Mhm.
internal issue dealing with stuff going on from there. That was self-inflicted. Not everything is for everybody. Some stuff you have to keep to yourself, but you got to know what you need to share.
Yeah.
And half the time, the stuff they put up there ain't worth it.
Exactly. I mean, trust me, when I was going through some relationship problems back, back a couple of years ago, I was using Facebook and all that to get sympathy pretty much. But I was just hurting to say something, to do something. That's all. It wasn't because I wanted people in my business. But I think at the beginning, I wanted that validation. Yeah, you're right, Flo. Yeah, But I just wanted to say something or do something. But now,
that's
yeah,
too. I don't mean to interrupt you, but it's that's why I think therapy is important, is because they give you the tools
yes.
to work those things out instead of running straight to social media and to do posts
Hmm.
and stuff like that, because it can have like a bad effect,
Oh
a
yeah,
boomerang
yeah,
thing that can come back
yeah,
on you
yeah,
and stuff like that. And
yeah,
people will pull it up later on or something, take
yeah.
a screenshot. You see what he said? Da, da, da.
They got
Hmm.
receipts.
Nobody, sometimes people are not there for your best interest. They be saying
Oh
things
yeah.
like, oh yeah, oh, it's gonna be okay, Floyd, did you see what he did? So I mean, that's why therapy is important, because it gives you the tools, whether it's EFT and tapping, whether it's meditating, whether it's just talking and talking and talking,
Hmm.
how to talk, journaling. There's a
Yep.
lot of tools out there that can help you cope and get through like hard situations and actually change your mindset when it
Yeah,
comes
yeah,
to,
yeah.
some things.
And here's another thing, and tell me if this relates to you. A lot of times in our jobs, especially we work in an office, or we work 8 to 9 or 8 to 5, whatever. A lot of times we're talking all day, right? We're in meetings, we're
Mm,
putting out fires,
Yep.
we're writing, we're
word.
using a lot of brain power a lot of time, whether it be daily or weekly, whatever it is. And then when we get home, sometimes we need to not sometimes, we want to decompress. Like, oh
Mm,
my God, I was using my brain talking all day, and all of a sudden I need 30 minutes. I need an hour. There's no time limit. Sometimes 2 hours. It depends. But
yep.
our partner um, thinks like, oh, you're shutting down. Yo, yeah, I am shutting down. I'm trying to come down from whatever I had during the day, and I'm just
Right.
trying to reset.
And that's what I do. Like when he comes home, uh, I make sure I give him his space, because I mean, the first thing I want to do is be like, here's the dogs, nigga. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
You know what happened
Bye.
when I flat tire? Oh man, Janice came in with this costume. Oh my God.
Yeah. So I mean, I make sure, he's like, he'll go upstairs and change his clothes and stuff like
Yeah,
that, instead of
yeah,
tackling him when he comes in the door, blah, 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 blah,
yeah.
and
Oh, that's what you do. I mean,
what
B3 would be happy every day. Come on.
tackling him when he came in, right? Not around the kids,
Yeah.
but
We'll do it.
Yeah, yeah.
he's so
But yeah, I think on both sides, and families and friends, I think it's a great thing to do is to go through a workshop or a class where we see the recognitions of mental health, stress. How do we communicate that we're here? Not necessarily here, excuse me, to solve the problem, but to say we validate your thoughts, we validate your what you're saying, your feelings, and we want to support as much as we can. But a lot of us don't know how to say that correctly, or don't know, friends, family, and all that. I think it's a great way if we had workshops to be provided, whether it be the state, the federal, or your job, where that can be, a thing for us, because it's all about communication. It's all about words, right? What we say back, what we don't say, and then also recognizing, you know, Robin Williams is a great example.
oh yeah.
He held in a lot, very talented. He's always happy. He's making jokes, but he was depressed like most of the time. Um, and a lot of people didn't recognize that until it's too late, until it broke him. And what ended up happening with Robin Williams. I think he drowned, or he did something.
No. He
No. He's hung himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you
Yeah,
go.
killed
Sorry.
himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the happiest person in the room to be the most oppressed person.
Or the same person that everybody tries to lean on but doesn't check on them.
Yeah.
It's pretty lonely too.
Mhm.
Yep. Yep.
Nobody
Yeah.
looks at the strong person to see if they need help.
And that's something that I posted probably within the last week about it. You know, people don't check on their strong friends.
Yeah. Oh, he
You
got
know,
it.
Yeah.
yeah,
You
people
No.
got
don't
it.
check on their strong
Oh,
friends. You know, me
he'll
being a
chain smoking.
yeah,
No.
yeah. It's,
And then there's a lot of times too that we avoid, like, oh, we see that he or she is having problems, but man, I got my own problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
mhm.
And then that one day, unfortunately, it happens, and we lose them, and then in your
Quick,
mind you're like, shit,
quickly.
I should have
Yep.
checked up on him. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Too
Right.
And a
late.
lot of times, and guys, families out there, some guys are easy. For me, I think guys are easy. Just, hey, what's up, man? Just
Y'all really
checking
are
on you.
easy.
Just
But
just checking on you. Yeah, I'm okay, man. That sometimes few words out of the
mhm.
blue, it helps. It
Right.
helps. A
Yeah,
lot of
it
times,
does.
guys don't want to talk a lot. They just
Uh-huh.
want to be acknowledged that they're having these feelings, or that someone is actually checking up on them. And
Mhm.
then either the guy opens up more, or the guy says, "Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate you at least asking me."
Mm.
That helps,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because we start to feel lonely because no one is actually asking us, "Hey, man, what's going on? Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking, man." Helps a lot. That's it.
Mhm.
A lot of times that saves the guy or
Yeah.
girl, from doing what they were thinking about doing, and hopefully not hurting themselves. So, um, yeah, it's a difficult task, guys. Right? Please agree with me with that. It's things we say, don't say, and how we look. Some of us are trained. Some have gone through it because of past relationships or people in
Mhm.
our lives. But I think it's a great thing to do, to offer that, nonprofit, how to recognize, stress, how to talk to
Yeah.
guys, and yeah,
I think it was it wasn't training. It was something when I was in Yokota that I took and got was suicide awareness advocate. I
yeah,
forgot. Yeah, I had went through that training or whatever, and that was a good training because I learned a lot through that training. You know, like talking people down and talking. You know, what to say. You know, to people that are going through certain things, and I did have to use it a couple of times.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So and never shared it with anybody that, oh, this person right here, she was going
yeah,
to do this. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And that's
mhm,
important. You know, you can't run your mouth about everything.
yeah,
I wish
yeah.
I could tell the younger Carla that, but yeah.
Yep, yep. And that's why every program helps.
Mm.
The hotline for the veterans, the 911, suicide for civilians, blah blah blah. All these numbers, all these organizations, they
Hmm.
help. If it saves a life, you won.
Hmm.
If you save a
Yeah.
life a week, every week, you won. Once a month, you won.
Once in your
There's
lifetime, you won. I mean,
Yeah,
it's like, hmm
there's no timeline, there's no like statistic. Is it helping? It is helping because it's available and people can
right.
actually reach out and talk.
Like
Um,
baby boomers, they never, ever. I don't know any baby boomer personally that would even accept counseling. They'll sit
no.
there and suffer in silence and stuff like
Mhm,
that, but
mhm.
then they'll judge you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
Anybody got time for that? But
That's
I
it.
mean,
You go and talk to them people. Just go pray on it. No,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
prayer.
yeah,
No. Sometimes we
yep,
pray too much instead of just listening. That's the problem.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, yeah. So I think at the end of the day, it's just validation, being there, being present, being careful with the choice of words that you say, and not using when the your partner opens up, that you don't use that against them, but let them have a open space to say what they feel and just validate them, and then move on. And yeah, and couples therapy helps. Talking to your pastor helps. The church helps too. All that stuff helps. Use these nonprofit organizations. Use the tools that are available to you. And and everything here is like, we got to remind yourself that it's okay to talk about it, and then it's okay not to talk about it. you need the space. There's a timeline sometimes to different people. So, well, let's move on to the $25. $25 is a new 12. I know we can talk all day about this issue, and it's very validating. At least people listening, and for me, it helped me a lot because then I know that I'm not alone. I know that, but I just want to like to hear that, right? Every
Right.
so often that I'm not by myself. So stand by. Once upon a time, $25 an hour was a decent wage. The promise of paying rent, buying groceries, but maybe even saving time. But in today's America, the same paycheck is being squeezed in record time with rents, rising food, gas, student loans, childcare, insurance, medical bills, and a lot of people going bankrupt overnight in the past 20, 30 years. And this is just about and this is just isn't just about folks we think of first. Our veterans coming home to civilian jobs to pay just enough to keep them one paycheck from a panic. This is about men and women across the board, federal workers, healthcare aides, security guards, retail managers, all wearing a brave face for wages that look solid on paper, but vanish in real life as we start paying our bills. So the question is $25 the new $12?
That's a good question.
Mm.
Well, I mean, I would say this. It depends on how you live.
Yeah.
Because if you live in a certain way, $25 could probably work for you.
Yeah. You got to have that financial literacy.
Yeah, the financial literacy. Like if you come in and you have no bills at all, like no debt at all, no bad debt
Yep.
or anything like that.
Yep.
If you're just going with like your electric bill. Now, what is your electric bill going to be? Do you have a 900 square foot apartment or do you have a 6,000 square foot house? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It all depends on what your situation is looking like and how you want to live. Are you going to be a minimalist or, you want to live lavish?
Or yeah, buy the new Jordan, $1,000
Right.
Jordan,
But
Right.
you eating beans
so
out of
Or
can.
here's the
are you living with somebody? Because if you're making $25 an hour and you don't have any bills and any rent or anything like that to pay too, that can mean something.
yeah.
So it all depends.
Well, here's the little slide here I made. Medium hourly wage in the U.S. is around 23 an hour, but average rent for a modest one-bedroom apartment is over 1,700 monthly nationally. 40% of full-time workers, or over 60 million people, live paycheck to paycheck. Nearly 1 in 4 federal workers can earn less than $20 an hour, even cities where living costs are skyrocketing. More than half of post 9/11 veterans say finding stable and well paying work is their biggest challenge after service. And then housing costs have jumped up 60% in the last 20 years. But real wage growth has hovered around 18%. Men and women are alike working multiple jobs. Over 8 million Americans hold more than one job to make ends meet. I think more than that, actually.
Hmm.
More than 8 million.
Wow.
Like
I mean, it's a
one
lot.
in three. Like I think 1 in 3 people, got jobs are working more than one job just to make ends meet.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's you also got to think about the inflation as well from the time being of just life in general, and also a lot of people just feel as though they don't have it because every time you step a foot out the door, it's costing you about $200 to $300. I mean, if you unless you step out the door with your own lunch in hand, and that constant reminder, 5 fingers on your hand, is like I have food at home.
Hmm.
Like
All right.
you want to spend some money, so I mean, you just got to be prepared for it mentally and financially for it. It's just different ways you got to think about it because everything is costing money nowadays. It's never ending. Until even if you go off grid, you still got to find a way to actually do the physical labor to go get some food.
Mhm.
So,
But also, like, we're such a materialistic universe. I mean,
No,
social media doesn't help because you see people living lavishly, vacationing,
it all
got the
depends on your
newest so and
mindset.
so.
If you
Yeah,
feel like you need to match up with what they're doing, then it all depends on your mindset. You don't have to do that. If that's something that you want to do or whatever, you put money aside and just be smart about it. You don't have to do it right now, but you have to plan. You have to be strategic about what you're going to do.
But think about those same people that want to floss like that too, and they don't understand that the people that they're trying to be like are faking. Just
Right.
like with the instance where people were dragging Bow Wow for saying he's on a G5, and
yeah,
that wasn't even his plane, or the guy at Home Depot that was standing by this thing that looks like a staircase. It was just a backdrop. You're like,
Hmm.
okay, so is it really that important to be like somebody else? I
Hmm.
mean, that's why some of the things that I said on different posts that I have is like, be you unapologetically. It's
mhm,
okay
Yeah.
not to fit in. You don't have to fit in. You don't. And then China then already told a whole bunch of people that half the stuff that they consider fake is not fake merchandise. So
yeah,
why are you
yeah,
still paying gaudy numbers for all types of stuff? So I mean,
exactly.
it's weird.
Yeah.
To me,
Absolutely.
I'm thinking about things, even when they say quote unquote fake, it still took somebody some time to recreate the thing. And
Yeah,
I'm like, to me, that's kind of either a skill. And a lot of these bags can't, I would say, like, I've seen the bag making process. And for
Yep.
that to happen, it's a lot of hands involved. Well, if
Hmm.
you're skilled, it'll take you forever to even do one bag,
yeah,
even if you're using another brand's name over it, which I don't think you should. If you did all that work, put your own name on it.
Right.
But that's just me. I see a lot of people out there designing their own Louis Vuitton stuff
hmm
or
hmm
Coach stuff, and I'm like, put a different fabric on it. Put your own initials. Like, you put in the work. It's not their brand.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. Well, the brand makes the price too. That's why all these brands,
But if you're
Cartier.
only gonna make one, that's what I'm saying. Like, you're making it one for you to put on. Like,
Yeah,
That's gonna
most
make it
people,
unique to where you can sell it for any price. Then.
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, I'm sorry. I know we're going off topic on the as far as
No,
the
no, no,
dollar
no. But
thing. It's just going back to what Carlo was saying is like the mindset side of the house. It's like, how do you view money? What are your goals with it? What do you plan on doing with it? Because
mhm,
it goes back to the age old time frame of like, you know, hey, give me $5 versus back in the day it used to be well, we always used to say give me $5. Now it's up to like $10. Hey, like give me $10 to $20 because
yeah,
$5 ain't kicking it no more.
yeah,
Yeah. See a
You know,
homeless person with a cash app. Like, excuse me.
right.
yeah, yeah. I
Now
I
these
think the
homeless people,
days.
they're ungrateful nowadays because they
Oh
this
yeah, yeah.
yeah, they're
Because
ungrateful.
everything is instant. Everything's like they feel like we're entitled to get a certain amount of money or to have a certain type of life. And we see, like I said, social media doesn't help because we see people, oh wow, they're living lavishly, oh they're all traveling, oh they're earning money here and there. And so the value of money is different for
Mhm.
this generation from our generation.
This
But
generation.
yeah, and we're also we're all, some of us trying to catch up with the Joneses, and it's all tall tale. Like, live within your means or save up and make that purse or that vacation or event the most memorable one, right? Not because I take it every
Right.
year.
Perfect
This
book.
book, yeah,
Ex-
this book right here
Yeah, I know
is,
that one.
yeah. So it's exactly saying exactly what you're saying, and
I got
along with all the other financial books, all pretty much say the same thing.
yep.
Yeah, I had a friend that told me a couple weeks ago, so you wouldn't buy a Gucci purse? And I was just like, nah. I said, and I've had a lot of that stuff already in the past, but like, nah, I'm not that interested in like purses and flossing and stuff like that. I mean, just because you are and I'm not, doesn't make me less than you. And
Yeah,
she's like,
yeah.
well, I'm gonna make sure that you go out and you buy a purse. Like, no, I'm not, unless you buying it. And if you buy it, I mean, you could have bought me something else. You don't have to, I don't have to do that.
Mm.
So the best is for me because think about for me, this is how I see it. Like Gucci purses and all that stuff, like a lot men ain't if you single, men ain't checking for you. It's like, oh my God, did you see that badass Gucci bag she got on? If he
Mhm.
did, then he ain't the one, boo. He he is not the one.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
It's a
yeah.
comedian, Chris Porter, that talked about that too. He was like, I think he went with his sister and her girlfriends to Vegas. He was the only guy, but he was like, they was like, should we wear high heels or tennis shoes? He was like, ain't no guy in there. I'm gonna be like, oh man, she wearing on those high stiletto heels. Oh, let me go
Mhm.
talk to her. He was like, man, you better go in there with some busted up tennis shoes. You can
Yeah,
be all
you know
right.
you could be
Yeah.
walking.
Right. And then they started walking and they would talk about their feet hurt. Now he's holding all the all the
All the
shoes.
shoes.
Right.
Mm. Yeah.
And yeah, it's just
I think it is a mindset. I think we can be, like I know, like for example, Starbucks are trying to join a union. They're not getting enough money, and not getting benefits, and all
Mm.
that. But I think the end of the day is like you said, financial,
Literacy.
management. What's your priorities? And
Mhm.
yeah, unfortunately, it's not like when our parents went to work. They had one
Mhm.
job and it could afford everything. Unfortunately, this is the world we live in. We can either
Mhm.
complain about it or we do something about it. And then that's why, a lot of us do other stuff. We sell stuff. We market ourselves. We, doing social media stuff. I mean, earn a little bit here, earn that. A lot of us sometimes DJ, do photography on the side just to make ends meet.
Yep.
Yeah.
broadcasting
So
on the side.
yeah. Well, obviously, as the business employer, if it's financially sound, you should pay a living wage. But it's it's not just the employer; it's everything around us, the environment. Rent, gas, laws, taxes, all
Yeah.
that comes into play.
But you have to look at it too. It's a capitalist society. Like, yeah, they could pay everybody a living wage, but where's the profit?
Exactly.
So they eat up all the profits with all the employees. So either A, they're gonna have to downsize, which a lot of people are downsizing. Then two, now they gotta figure out, okay, well, what's next? How can we leverage the people that we just lost? Or how can we have the people that are here work more, like do more work with less
Mhm.
people?
And
Exactly.
convince them to do that too.
Yeah.
Correct. Without even giving them a pay raise, we might give them some donuts and pizza. Or
And
say like,
pizza.
hey, you can take the day off. Like everybody get an extra day off. Like
Comp time.
that
Yeah.
is minuscule and is free for the company to do that. So, and then on top of that, they were giving people incentives just for learning any type of AI tools or strategies to kind of streamline the process.
Yeah.
Like for me, my goal at work has always been to replace myself. Like, what can I do to automate this process so somebody else can do the work so I can do something else
Yeah. Yeah.
besides what I'm
Yeah.
doing now?
Yeah. And
And it's no job security.
yeah, I mean, for us working in the federal government and the military, we always looking for a process to make it easier because we grew up in the time in the past 20, 30 years where there were so many red tape bureaucracy, has to go to here, to here, to here, to here, to here. Paperwork, we're burning a lot of trees and computer validation. And then all of a sudden AI is making it easier. And as leaders and managers, that's what we're trying to do. That way we have time to think, have time. Okay, you can take a break, you can take your vacation because we have these automations happening that is making our job easier. Unfortunately, the backdrop is that we may lose positions because we don't need that position anymore. But yeah, how do I replace myself? How do I make the job procedure easier, and have more time for ourselves?
Well, that
Right.
requires, again, because a lot of times people talk about SOPs. I try to tell everybody, like, if you're good at writing and tasks, not like tasks in general, but if you're good at writing out step by step, you're golden to any business. Because a lot of
Yeah,
people don't
technical
even,
writers. Yep.
huh?
I say yeah, like technical writers and stuff like that.
Mm.
Yep.
Correct. For now, because even if the technical writer, if you can get an AI tool that you're
Mm.
sitting there watching somebody do it, just say like, "Hey, person that's doing this task, go ahead on and install this tool, or have this tool watch you, and it'll take screenshots as you're doing the work." Then you can take that information and make it pretty clean up to the format that everybody else is using, and then until there's an AI tool that would do that all in one swoop. But until then, hey, you technical writers, I think will still be the saving grace for a lot of these jobs in company with AI. Like,
Hmm.
yeah, it'll save so much work.
Far as training, doing the right procedures.
Well, for replacements.
Oh,
So,
gotcha.
like, especially if you got a manual labor, say if you're doing AutoCAD or something like that, hey, you need to make sure this is the way it's supposed to be to at least get out that 80% of the time. And that's where your SMEs will come in because they will know the difference, saying like, hey, perfect example, we all know how to make peanut butter jelly sandwiches. A SME would say like, hey, put peanut butter on both pieces of the bread so it helps with travel, put the jelly in between so that the bread doesn't get soggy. So I was like, mind blown. I never heard about this until I talked to somebody else who had kids, and they was like, this is what we do. I was like, for me, I'm just throwing jelly on one side, peanut butter on the other. I've never seen it for travel.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that's the thing.
Add a little pickle on that, right?
No.
Yeah, you're
All right. So bottom line, is
that's another.
25 the new 12?
No pickle.
Yes, but I think we can come to the conclusion that 25, depending how you manage your money and live your life,
Oh yeah, we way off topic. Yeah,
it could be peanut butter, pickles. It could be enough, right? It could be enough.
Yeah, to me, it can be enough, but to tie back into the very first topic we had today, what are you doing to keep yourself above water while making that amount that you're making?
right.
That's true.
Something got to shake.
Because
Yeah, I mean, if you're going out and partying and just blowing money and stuff like that, and you're not trying to, improve your professional development or, that to me, to like $25 an hour would be like should be a stepping stone or something like that. But then again, it does depend on how some people want to live.
Yeah, or to go back to what you said before, Floyd, was about somebody chasing validation.
Yep.
They're chasing validation because there's a spot within them that's empty, and there's nobody there who's checking in on them to help fill it.
Yeah.
So they feel, you know what, I can spend all this money or whatever. Then next thing you know, bills are overdue. You're getting pink notices in the mail. All types of stuff could be happening, and then you stress out again. It's a cycle.
U.S. is just, we're a capital society. Everything almost costs money, because we feel like if it doesn't cost money, like we didn't do anything. But I mean, walking to the beach, walking to the park, something that you could do for free, we feel like that's not enough, right? Like our life is not enough. We need to do more. We need to go to.
I like doing free stuff. I love doing free stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like I look for those opportunities. I feel better when I do free stuff sometimes,
Yeah, not wanting compensation. Yeah. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this, whatever. What's the catch?
Yeah.
No catch.
Like last summer when we were touring Maryland, basically, like just going to like different beaches or different places just to look at a point lookout or go somewhere and take pictures. That's free. Well, I mean, gas isn't, but I mean, it's pretty much, you're not spending a whole lot of money and you're having a good time because you're with me.
Exactly. Or having, watching or going to a museum or a garden or.
I heard that loud and clear, Carlos. You with me. You ain't with
You
nobody
with
else.
me.
You ain't with your buddies.
Yeah, he with me. So you
can't have fun
you
with
had
friends.
fun, didn't you, last year, babe? You had fun, didn't you? Didn't you have fun? No, I was playing.
My babe got something to say. Yes,
I do want to
I
say
had
I want
fun last year.
Look twice if you're in trouble.
Well, first off, before we leave, I want to say happy belated anniversary, Carla and D3.
Thank you.
Happy belated.
She with me.
And I want to say happy 77th to my beautiful mom.
Happy
Barbara.
birthday.
Hell of a fall.
Yes,
Mama
she
Barbara.
is still flying. So, I'm going to be just like her when I get old.
Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Hopefully you can catch this when you're not busy. Really good, important topics and a great conversation we had today. But yeah, 25 is the new 12. Yeah, but like manage your money,
Stretch it.
manage your life. Yeah, I do. And if you want more financial advice and tips, Coach Anthony about that wallet every Thursday.
At 8 p.m. Eastern and Tuesdays are live episodes. I mean, pre-record episodes on Tuesdays. Episode 301's loaded.
Yay, she heard me.
Mm.
Hi, Mama
Oh,
Barbara.
hey, Mama Barbara.
All right. Thank you guys for hanging out. Highway 54. See you guys next week.
Easy.
Deuces. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed the show today. Do us a favor and click on the like button or share our podcast. Thanks for listening. Till next time, we are Highway 54.